It is the podcast on I'd say snowy, but it just stopped snowing.
It is stopped snowing. It's supposed to be sunny by the end of the day.
Wild and wonderful Northern Virginia.
Right.
What's our state's tagline? Virginia's for lovers?
Yes.
I would like to. I would like
Wild
to have
and
a
wonderful,
word.
I think, is West Virginia. We should try to. That's the only two I know. Florida, the Sunshine State.
Michigan, pure Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
Is that all we got?
It's
Maryland. Maryland's got to be, we love our crabs.
Is it Maryland? We've passed the sign a million times, so Maryland, I wouldn't even know.
State.
Maryland, leave before you get got.
Maryland, our flag is a brand. Maryland is more than you can imagine.
That's their tagline?
Okay, I'm going to read some of these. I want you to guess. Beyond your dreams, within your reach.
New Hampshire.
Alaska. But I don't think New Hampshire even has one.
In my reach.
Oh, no, sorry. They switched it from that to find your Alaska. Okay. It's not in my reach. It's very far away from my reach. Famous potatoes. Come on.
Oh, Idaho.
Yeah. Okay, this one. Middle of everything.
Indiana.
Illinois. Can we call it Illinois? Sounds fancy that way. Freedom to flourish.
Hold on. Freedom. Oregon.
Iowa.
Oh, really? I would never.
Okay, remember. It's all here.
Hold on. California.
No, what do you think? Massachusetts.
I've never gone.
Okay, this one, and I lie not. The state is in the tagline.
Okay.
Nebraska, it's not for everyone.
I know. Nebraska.
Land of 10,000 lakes.
Oh, wait, Michigan?
Minnesota.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Michigan's pure Michigan. It was say yes to Michigan. I guess we said no. The heart of it all.
Hold
you
on.
have personal roots to this place.
Ohio?
Yeah. We like it here. You might too.
Texas.
Oregon. Fun-sized.
Okay, hold on. Rhode Island.
Yes! Impressed. I'm impressed. Vermont's is Vermont, naturally.
Weird.
Wild and wonderful West Virginia. Discover the unexpected.
Hold on.
You'll
Montana.
unexpect this state. No, Wisconsin. Wyoming that's Wyoming.
Oh,
what's these states are like? Right, it's just
Wyoming.
It's just what we are. Start your journey to legendary.
New Mexico.
North Dakota. Adventures that feed the soul. You just said this one.
Texas.
No, wait, you literally.
New Mexico.
There you go. Is Texas not here? What would be? Oh, to the
larger
stars.
than life. Bigger. Bigger's better.
Yeah, we're our own country. We don't have. It's like a whole other country.
I would have guessed.
Okay, welcome to the podcast. I think Corrie wants to debrief you on her wretched weekend.
First off, let me introduce ourselves. Hello, I'm Corrie with the Broken Vehicle.
Pause for the intro. And now go ahead with the Broken Vehicle.
Welcome to the Baking It Down podcast. This is Corrie and Heather with Sugar Cookie Marketing, a group on Facebook. We'd love for you to join us. I've been letting people in right and left. I do think it is quality over quantity. So I let a few people in at a time just to make sure they
How
know
many
the
people
ropes.
are pending?
9,000.
Corrie. Somebody messaged me last night and they're like, I would really like to see the Facebook Live Andrea Forte taught last night.
So what about 9,000 on the real?
So I went and I was like, oh, let me get you in there. Because she's like, I've been pending. It's like 3 weeks. I'm like, oh, you've not been pending that long comparatively speaking.
Listen. Quality. If I let in 9,000 people, do you know the mayhem?
I want to explain to people why there's so many pendings. One, when you let in a ton of people, half of those are scammers, and it's unfortunate.
It is.
And as soon as they get into a group, they start their scam post, which kind of just depends things.
They almost will wait 19 hours. It seems to be.
Whoever wrote the script said follow protocol. So and then you have a lot of people who don't fill out the questions. It's the majority of them.
And I try to get the people who fill out the questions first.
And then if anything kind of trends outside the group and sends a mass amount of people, it gets them all mixed together. There's no excuse for 9,000. However, that's as close as I can get.
But letting in just a few every time, you can because this group is run a little bit different than other groups.
It's
modded heavily.
Yes.
So I don't want you to get into the group and then feel like you got your hand slapped. So I just let a few people in at a time so you can learn the route.
You know, Facebook's like, hey, I'm looking out for the newbies. I'm going to put a little hand by your name.
Yeah.
Did you guys know this? Did you guys know you can take that hand away from you?
No, don't tell them. I need to know it.
I love to join a group, remove the hand, and ask a stupid question. I've been here for years.
Well, I'll only grace your ears with my car drama. I don't park in door ding sections, so I don't get a door ding.
The crux of this entire story about to be lambasted with, be my fifth time hearing it, is that Corrie did not park in the door ding section. In fact, she parked around the side of the building as to not get backed into door ding. And I will say the parking lot she chose is the worst one in all of Woodbridge.
It is. But I parked so far away. I said, come on, son. It's raining, but we'll be fine. The car will do well by itself right here.
So Corrie goes to Qdoba. It's like a discount Chipotle nobody likes.
It's weirdly spelled. Had to spell it to the police officers. And I was like, Q, there's no U.
Yeah, it's Qdoba.
Qdoba. Yeah. So I went to Qdoba, walked out, and I swear, out of body experience, this car,
whole front end of her vehicle has been detached from the vehicle.
Pieces laying in front of it.
So bad, in fact. Corrie actually thinks it's somebody else's car.
Yeah.
And hers is magically behind it looking great.
Yeah, like my brain is registering. Like it's putting these little pieces like, Corrie, you
the pieces like scattered across the road.
That was a windshield. That was us.
So what we surmise happened, because that parking lot is so wretched that people often cut through spots. I don't cut through spots because I'm worried about picking up nails.
Right. That's what I thought.
I'd say if you're a spot cutter througher, I'm going to encourage you not to unless you like buying rubber.
Yes.
So anyway, somebody, not us, decided to cut through a spot and took the turn around Corrie's car just too hard.
But to add insult to injury, left the scene.
Of course. Well, we were talking about Woodbridge. Woodbridge, wild.
Unfortunately, like a small town like Rhode Island, you'll never find the people.
If Woodbridge had a tagline, it'd be Woodbridge, you're only caught if you're caught.
Woodbridge, keep going.
You're almost out of here. I can say that because I lived in Woodbridge for 10 years.
Yeah, I still live there. Unfortunately, no information left behind, so it is a non-insured motorist accident on my policy now.
So I have to bring. If you're a bungee cord driver, you know.
I am not a bungee cord girl.
We bungeed up.
The car is bungeed. My neighbor walked out. He's like, I didn't even trying to make me feel better. He's like, I didn't even know. He said, you know, the newer Camrys have a racing stripe right there. That's what I thought you had added to.
If you add racing stripes with the bungee cord, you'll fit that in to Woodbridge. They will adopt you.
So I got to drop it off on Thursday, and it will be in the hands of someone, hopefully, that cares about it as much as I did.
If not, please bring it to my auto body shop. I thought I did great with the bungee cord. So I
really did.
Black on white. That looked a little frisky.
You did.
So that's Corrie. I did give her a ride yesterday to deliver, and this is actually our podcast topic of the week: how to install.
Tune back in.
How to install a rear camera. Are you going to be adding cameras to your cars in the future?
I was thinking about it, but would I have been able to still see? Would I have been able to see it, even if it's raining? Like, and there's like dewdrops all over it.
I mean, if you had, where's this rope? Yeah, I mean, you can. I mean, yeah, there's acts of God where they could also break the windshield and take the camera. But
should I? I had one in that. Want to kick myself for not having it beforehand. You can't do that. You almost need something to happen to you.
I say if someone ran into my 30-year-old car, great. I mean, I don't want to know you. I want you to take the vehicle. I won't tell. But okay, yesterday Corrie says, well, I actually unfortunately have to deliver 5 million cookies. Yeah. She's in her corporate Girly Era at Neiman Marcus. Calls back again. Can you pick me up? Absolutely. So I borrow somebody else's car so we can get there. And we pick up this. Just how many cookies is it?
It was 11 dozen.
How much was, I know you had me send the invoice, but I want you to tell the people why Corporate Girly Era is so nifty. It's the one, I thought they were rather simple. Half of them were hearts.
Listen, I just do what the clients want.
Corrie tried to encourage the client to get a little bit more complex, and he was like, no.
Yeah, they had a Galentine's that was 5 dozen cookies, and he wanted lips, a heart, and an arrow.
And once. So and the other ones was this perfume that was $400. Yes. In fact, when we delivered, I actually found the perfume. And I went to smell it, and somebody's like, would you like me to spray that on you? And I said, I can't afford that. I shouldn't even be touching the bottle. I will be leaving.
Heather's just stumbling across.
Sweaty. I didn't want anyone to talk to me. So, okay, back to the topic of the podcast. And we're calling this one License to Delight.
License to Delight.
And it's based on the conversation that we had. Turns out there's 2 Patricks working there, so we're going to call them Patrick 1, Patrick 2. Patrick 2 placed the order. Patrick 1 is who we ran into. So we walk upstairs. I want to let you know how out of place I look amongst $5,000 shirts.
We passed the fur department.
We passed the leather department. I just ran through it, so nothing touched me. But when we get to the back executive offices of this place, of this 3-story Neiman Marcus, there's a man named Patrick there. They don't use phones. He's got one piped into his ear, almost like Taylor Swift's doing a concert.
It was like very much you couldn't see it.
And he was like intercomming other Patrick which is how I knew his name was Patrick. Because I said, you're calling Patrick, but you're Patrick. And he's like, oh, I'm another one.
But someone had paged him. Cookies are on their way. Like someone had seen us.
It was
from
an elite
somewhere.
experience. Neiman Marcus is like, we will get you that size, small to medium, immediately. So anyways, Patrick 1 says, hey, I'm going to sit you guys in this corner office. And Patrick 2 would like to meet you. But while we're sitting there, he says, I said, it's pretty impressive that you guys keep buying these cookies. What do you do with them? Like, you're not eating them. And
Right.
he's like, you know what? Neiman Marcus, you got to understand, is exceptionally expensive. I have not been into that store unless it was to deliver cookies with Corrie. I think they should check my tax identification at the door and say, ma'am, you can't come in here.
Yeah, it's
There's
the highest,
nothing for you here.
highest end brands all in one spot.
Right. I'm more of a, give me Macy's. Give me Macy's in 2010. That's my vibe. Macy's today, even I don't like it. I won't even park in the parking garage. Just have to walk. So in the Neiman Marcus, he says, it's absolutely crazy. We have people coming in here spending just thousands and thousands of dollars. And then he adds this part, and I thought it was fascinating because it applies so well to this industry that we're in. He said, nobody needs anything at a department store, let alone at a department store that's priced the way this one is. He said, nobody needs anything here. So how can we make it different? He said, what we do is we do these little customer appreciation things. He said, now this perfume was called Creed. He said, the sales staff, who is the best in the nation in these, sales commission jobs for things people don't need.
Yeah.
He said they will call their client list and invite them to this little get together with these cookies. And he said, it's not that the cookies are great. And he said, the funniest thing is
the cookies are great.
Actually, the cookies are the worst. Who made these gouges? Heather, did you? He said, it's not like these cookies are anything special. He said, in fact, the last time we had one of these little get-togethers, we ordered crap off Amazon. He said nobody would have wanted that, but you would have thought that we had given them gold bars. He said these extremely wealthy people are getting something they could have got on Amazon, but because it was given to them at this experience we had at the store, they felt so appreciated. And he said the same with these cookies. The cookies, what was the average cost? Under $5 per cookie?
No, it was $95 those.
Oh my gosh. You can talk while I'm swallowing.
Oh,
or you can just wait. We can all
I
just
thought
have
you were
I was trying to
in the middle of a
breathe. I was trying to breathe.
Oh yeah.
So anyways, Patrick goes on to say that's what the difference is. That's why you see people coming. And I will say, we delivered 11 a.m. on a Monday.
Yeah.
It had people in it.
It did.
For the fact that everything you looked at was $10,000. Your security guards outnumbered the people.
Yeah, I know. We were like passing them. I felt weird.
But everywhere you went, there was this, you could tell they were prepping for this little Creed party.
Creed was a little bit of everywhere.
And if you don't know what Creed is, you
either.
and me pay the same tax rate. It's $400 perfume. I thought it smelled nice. I did smell it for 2 seconds before somebody tried to sell it to me.
I know. But what it gets down to is people do not need your very expensive custom-made cookies.
Just like nobody needs anything at a department store.
Yeah.
If we really wanted something at a department store, socks. If we really wanted cookies, Oreos.
Yes, absolutely. That would, if you're hungry, an Oreo will do the trick.
The thought to me, like as I'm holding Creed perfume, I'm worried like suddenly my exceptionally sweaty hands will drop it. I could get any of this perfume. Go to Bath and Body Works. There's 2 malls that are right next to each other, oddly, in this area. I could go to what we call the cheaper mall. We could have gone to the cheaper mall and I could have gotten probably a similar smell at a myriad of stores where that was under $30.
Yeah.
And if you are a perfume collector, I know I just offended you. I'm so sorry. I wish I had your nose palette.
Yes.
But me and Bath and Body Works and Cucumber Melon.
Yeah. But the people who are buying Creed, the $400 perfume, they're not buying it because
they're buying Creed, the $400 perfume.
That's
Right.
When you say, "Hey, you smell good," what perfume is that?
Creed, the $400 perfume.
It's Creed. And unlike custom cookies, where you bring these custom cookies into an event, and people are like, "Oh my goodness, look at the designs! Oh my soul, these are too pretty to eat." That is what people are paying for. So that delight, what he was
licensed to delight. I don't know what his
he
job
was a customer experience manager.
Yeah.
Is what's in his little
smart
email.
But the license to delight separates Neiman Marcus. You could actually buy that Creed perfume from Creed online.
Absolutely.
I Googled it. That's how I knew the price was. That's how I knew to be sweaty when I touched it. But what Neiman Marcus says is, how can we get people to buy Creed you're us.
Yeah. So what I see a lot in the group is people are like, no, there's so many cookiers than there was 10 years ago or 5 years ago. So because there's so many bakers around you and you think competition is so stiff, but we're all ordering from the same cutter shop. So our Mario cookies all look the same because we're ordering Mario cookies.
Neiman Marcus didn't say, okay, Creed's selling this for $400. We're going to sell it for $350. We're going to sell it for $250. Instead, Creed says they're selling it for $400. We sell it for $400. We're going to sell it for $400 plus cookies.
Yeah.
And you see that instead of competing on price, they competed on experience.
So it comes down to the very beginning. Your customer experience starts with your Facebook post selling your Valentine's pre-sales. Like that's when the customer experience starts. It's not when someone lands in your email inquiring about a quote.
You're halfway through the customer experience by the time they get to your email.
Your customer experience starts way back here and then continues on till hopefully you make the order and deliver it.
I would say the customer experience, just like Neiman Marcus, extends months to years later. When you remember that they had a birthday at this time last year, or when you remember that small fact that they said their kid was graduating college and you send a, hey, congratulations on that.
Yeah,
just like Neiman Marcus, they're not telling you, hey, will you be buying the Creed perfume? Now you're invited. Instead, they're saying you're invited. Maybe you would like to buy the Creed perfume. And I think that's what makes that really delightful thing. And I was telling Corrie, as I honestly got discombobulated with the prices and I didn't know where the exit was.
Oh, we got lost.
Up, down. Corrie said, we got to go downstairs. I think there's an excuse to the left.
You're walking towards the makeup. Turn around.
We just looked impoverished. Little girls, where's your mom? I don't know. I can't find her.
Anyway, Mom.
As we're walking out, I said, it's so funny that they ordered these Creed cookies. The cookie, it looks like the bottle of perfume. You did a good job on it.
Thank you. You did have 4.
I did a great job. But I said to Corrie, it's so funny. I just bought that used car. And I felt like an employee. That's how I was treated. I felt like I was inconveniencing them. Whereas you buy, and a car is a lot more expensive than a perfume. This $400 perfume, you're celebrated.
Celebrated to even show up to look at it.
Of smelling it. Someone's congratulating you on just having great taste.
Absolutely. So a lot of times people will end up in your inbox looking for a quote and they're not just asking you, they're shopping around, which is normal to shop around to get the best deal. Yeah. People are like, they're just tire kickers. Listen, we all are.
Right here, buddy. So we can be Corrie and do the front end kicker.
Don't kick my car. So people end up in your inbox and they're looking for a quote. You can kind of get the feeling that probably they're not going to book with you, which is totally fine.
How can you delight them still?
How can you make it so they want to book with you in the future?
Here's the thing. If any of these dealerships had been delightful, I think I would have paid more just to deal with somebody who had been delightful. Because I hate feeling like dead weight, or I hate feeling who wants to feel unappreciated or like a burden. Yeah. Trying to give me, I would go with somebody who's a little bit more expensive if they convinced me that the experience would reflect that price. Yeah. But instead we have these, cookiers and car salesmen, sleazy all of you. And you guys are like, well, I can tell that they're not going to have my price. So cut them off. My price is my price.
My price is my price. Do you offer discounts? No, it's a complete sentence.
Yeah, very harsh, very not delightful. Actually, very undelightful, very burdensome. You make somebody feel like they were a burden for even asking the question. So imagine their thought when the next, let's say that odds are maybe they weren't looking necessarily, they were probably hoping for a price. Here's when I looked up that car, I picked 7 of them and I just started making offers. Yeah. And then I averaged out what they came back with and was like, oh, this is probably what the car goes for. Yeah. I didn't know what I was looking for. So imagine that this person is doing the same thing with cookies. They likely went to 3 bakers and all of you guys said, my dozen starts at $65. Yeah. But you were really rude. But they know they're going to spend $65 now because they've asked 3 bakers. But one of them was nice and one of them was rude and it's $65. Who do you think they would go with?
They're going to go with the person that delights them, that makes them feel like their $65 is worth it. When I used to sell cars, sleazy, I know, we had to treat the last person of the day like they were the first person through the door.
Love it.
That is what they said to us. So when I'm tired because I've been baking on the asphalt, opening endless car doors for someone to be like, yeah, we're going to go look elsewhere. When that last person comes in, they're expecting to have the experience of the first person that
and I don't blame them.
No, absolutely not. If you're going to spend any amount of money on a luxury item, cookies are cars, both of them are luxury, you want to have that experience to be delighted, that someone has a whole job title dedicated to making you feel good about your purchase.
This is a wild thing is the Corrie, now her Craptastic mobile. She had bought it from a local dealership, which everyone, if you are like me, I don't call them dealerships. I call them stealerships, and my results have never altered my view. But Corrie's like, wow, this dealership up the street that I got it from was actually so great. So I actually went to see if they had the car there just because I wanted to experience a dealership where it didn't feel like a stealership.
Yeah.
Of course, they didn't have the car there, but I would have just for that delightful experience. You keep bragging about your experience with oil changes.
When I've bought cars in the past, as soon as you drive off the lot, they're dead. They act like you. They don't know you. They didn't just spend 8 hours with you. You're dead to them. This dealership, I almost am like excited to go back. Like they're handing me loaners like they're candy.
Corrie, and this is an interesting thing. This is how interesting that experience was. Corrie needed to get something fixed or oil change or something on the car, right?
Yeah.
It's jalopy outside. Back before it was a jalopy last week. So she goes in and they say, do you want your car? Do you want your exact car as your loaner? So she says yes. So she gets the exact car. But when she comes back in, they had just a small issue. Again, people have, there's problems in business. This is how we handle them. When she came in to get the car fixed again, they said, would you like a different loaner? And give her this car that I liked so much.
They're like, do you want something bigger? Do you want something smaller?
They let her taste test a lot. The car had under 1,000 miles on it.
Yeah, like 500.
But here's the wild thing. That's the car I ended up buying.
Yeah.
Because Corrie had such a great experience, because they let her taste test a lot, I turned around and I bought the car she was test driving. Not the exact one. I'll give you a ride.
Okay.
But look at that delightful experience for this brand, which was an Acura. This brand, because they had such a delightful dealership experience, has sold an extra car they didn't even know about.
Yeah. And I can't say enough good things about coming back for service.
I bet if Corrie buys another job,
I would want it from that
dealership. And that's that customer delight thing. So bringing it back to Neiman Marcus and bringing it back to cookies in general, before you either compete on price. Listen, I want to say Corrie's probably, you may be thinking, well, you probably paid premium to have that experience at the dealership. So what? That's what she wanted. Yes, she paid probably more for her vehicle. In exchange, had a delightful and continuingly delightful experience.
But I'm willing to do that because I want a delightful experience. Neiman Marcus ordered those cookies last minute. 11 dozen last minute. But listen, I knew I could charge a premium fee, and the man just wanted me to say yes. And he was willing to pay for it.
And you made almost $1,000 in cookies that Eddie printed.
Yeah.
And the other ones I could have done myself. Hey, Patrick, listen. I'll cut you a deal.
I gave him what he wanted. I made it bigger than normal because they were so simple in design.
Patrick, dude, come here real quick. So back to delighting your customers. I know that I see a lot of people are like, there's so many bakers. Who cares? There's so many dealerships and there's so many department stores. How are you competing on the different level of being absolutely delightful? And there's ways to be delightful, and there's ones that you can automate, which are the best. And then there's ones that take a level of effort, which are probably going to see bigger results from. The automated ones is autoresponders. So someone's, I had the other car, my jalopper, needed to take him to a dealership service department, submitted a form, got no confirmation.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure if they still got that form. I don't
still
know.
Waiting on you.
I've never got a call.
Yeah.
But I was saying, so autoresponders that tell people what to expect in the next steps. And then immediate follow-up, that distance between when somebody sends you a message and when they reply, that's a way you can delight. Packaging is a way you can delight.
Absolutely.
Car cookies. Delightful.
Something a little bit extra.
A little bit extra. Didn't cost you a lot. Corrie's car cookie is an Eddie printed thank you circle.
It is cute. But yeah, no, it's, I say, hey, this is just for you to eat in the car. No one will ever know. It's between both of us. But them having a little something extra. Oh, I got something extra. You know, I had my best client ever ordered 3 dozen cookies. I charged her for 2 dozen this morning. And she was like, I think it needs to be more than that. One, she always tips an extra price of a dozen.
That's wild.
And I said, favorite customers get favorite customer
things. You're going to let them. See, she's delighted, so she's doing delightful things.
Yeah, because you are my number one customer. The amount of money that profit I have made off you, I can give you an extra dozen for free.
I had an email. I'll keep names have been changed to protect the innocent. I had an email come in, and the baker was like, hey, listen, I really like your guys' policy. In fact, I had an order go out. Something was wrong with my fridge. It created a smell within the baked item. The client was actually a venue, so it wasn't like somebody, she said, which was great. And I immediately refunded because I know exactly what happened. I'd use this cleaning product in the fridge. But I had more orders go out that day. What should I do? And I said, I said, I would hate to tell you this, but probably refund them all. I couldn't imagine if I got something from somebody. I'm the person I'll never complain.
You'll
about
never
it.
hear me.
You'll never see me again.
Yeah.
But you'll never hear me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never ever come back. But I will not raise my hand. I hate that level of like confrontation because I hate being told no. You just have bad taste buds. Okay.
Yeah, or putting someone on where they feel like they have to defend themselves. Like, no, it must be your taste buds. 50 cookies went out and no one said anything but you.
Yeah. So she's like, in her email, she's like, I want to refund them. I'm just wondering how I should phrase this because they haven't come back to me.
Yeah.
And she, I helped her come up with a script or whatever. I said, here's what I would write. And she was like, this is going to cost me a lot, but I know I'll never get them back if I don't do this. Yeah. And I haven't written her back yet, but I'm going to write and said, I have no problem. If somebody did that for me, if somebody preemptively refunded me, I'd order from you for the rest of my life. I'd invite you to my wedding. I'd be like, no, you're not even making the cake. You're cutting it. You're walking down the aisle with me. We're married. That kind of thought to go out and really delight somebody, even she's preemptively doing it.
Yeah.
She's unassuming that maybe I would be floored if somebody did that for me. So in this competitive environment where we all like to say, well, they're just charging less than me. There's no way I can compete. Yeah, you can compete by being delightful. I would never compete on price.
I wouldn't want to compete at the bottom. I want to compete at the top.
If you compete at the bottom of price, there's no elbow room to delight. Neiman Marcus can buy $1,000 worth of cookies because everything has so much margin. I'm sure it's great products and stuff, but at the end of the day, sure, it's technically
a white shirt is a white shirt. You can go get them at Walmart.
So they have each shirt we looked at. Even I touched a dress and I said, back one.
Yeah, I was like, why are you touching that?
They had
greasy, gross hands.
Everything there has so much margin. So they're not competing by lowering. I saw not one sale.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't even know what they do with the clothes. They probably just burn them. You don't even get them discounted. We light on marshmallows above these French dresses. Yeah. But instead of competing at the bottom, where Neiman Marcus is like, well, we need to get money from Macy's. This is where Patrick had come from. He said I'd done this at Macy's for 20 years, and now I do it here. And we have the best in the business because we can pay the highest commissions. We have the best customers because we can delight them with events like this. Because this is their fourth or fifth event with you.
Yeah.
Like they are very delightful. And then he's like, and then he said, I thought was something really interesting and kind of an aside. He said the position of being a customer delight manager. He said, I go in and I take the clothes out of a dressing room and hang them up again because I know the next person walking into that dressing room will spend $40,000. Oh! He said $40,000.
$40,000
on clothes.
On clothes. But that's where I want to be. That's who I want to delight. I'm willing to charge extra so I can make the packaging look extra, so I can make Neiman Marcus look good. Mm-hmm. Because they're the ones that are willing to pay for it because they understand what the luxury market is. Mm-hmm. And that's what cookies are. They're not a race to the bottom. You can't afford to not charge anything for them.
But here on the flip side, if you're not going to compete on price, you do have to zhuzh it up. How do you spell zhuzh?
Zhuzh?
Yeah, I wouldn't even Google. I don't want Google to know. I didn't know.
Is there a Z in there?
I have no zhuzh.
Zhuzh.
J?
No. Actually, it's an SCH.
I wouldn't even know what to Google without Google saying, what are you trying to say?
Okay, keep talking.
You say zhuzh?
I want to
know what you're going to spell.
Okay. I'm going to do, I think it does start with the S. Zh. I'm going to put a Z. Zh.
I think it needs to end with two Z's.
It's definitely bringing me to Zoom. Nope. I spelled it so wrong, I could not even do it.
That's what I'm saying. Okay.
Zhuzh. I think
it up.
Zhuzh.
Okay, this is how you spell it.
What?
ZHUZH.
Oh my goodness!
To zhuzh something meant you're kicking it up a notch.
Oh yeah, zhuzhing it up. Zhuzhed.
I had to type in "zhuzh it up." That helps me. Thank you. Zhuzh. So if you want to zhuzh it up, you can't say, "Okay, well, I'm going to charge a premium," but they're going to get what the basic baker's charging because I know my worth. Yeah, they know your worth. It is in that delightful thing. And you can do that through packaging. You can do that through correspondence. You can do that through refund, a very forgiving refund policy.
You can do it through your photography.
You can do it through, Corrie even made me shower. She made me shower to drop off those cookies.
Yes.
She said, I want you to see your hair did. I want to see your nails did.
I want you to look like you belong at Neiman Marcus.
Yeah, I still didn't,
but
we tried.
Your branding is a big one that can do a lot of work for you.
How you accept payment. Corrie did not tell them to pay through PayPal or Venmo. She had me execute an invoice.
Yeah,
QuickBooks.
I wanted it to look super good.
Yeah, so and even though I think QuickBooks is the ugliest app ever made in the history of the planet,
but I think everyone recognizes it, so it's like, let's do that.
So that is everything you can do to delight your customer, and then after the sale, service after the sale, right? So that's what I've not experienced with this car dealership.
Yes.
I've given them all my money and now they're not replying to me. Like, hello.
They have the car, the money, and not Heather.
So how do you delight after the experience is you can write them an email. You can, and if you want to be crazy, you can write them a card and say, thank you so much for letting, I would be floored. Here's a funny thing. I live with Ruth Ann. She is 85. 85-year-olds get a very certain type of mail.
Yeah.
A lot of like retirement living and then this very interesting phenomena I'm seeing. And it's these printed cards that look like handwriting.
Yeah.
Of course, Ruth Ann can't tell the difference. I can because you're like, there's too much uniform printing here. But it looks like a handwritten card. And every time she gets one, I really see her light up. So she goes through, I guess, Kaiser Permanente.
Yeah.
They did a handwritten printed card. Of course, it was a cute little card. It looks like something you could get from Hallmark, but she showed it around.
Oh, that's so funny.
She's like, look at what Kaiser wrote me.
Oh, that's so nice.
They did. They loved you. But that difference, that delightful. My doctor's never written me a single thing other than a prescription and barely the one I wanted. Yeah, you're trying to get 2 months waiting to get to your doctor.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, where's the customer service? Like, I'm desperate at this point.
And then when you go there, if it's not delightful, you're probably just not going to go back to a doctor if I know you. But the rest of us would find another doctor. So it's that customer experience after the sale. What it does, and I was telling Corrie about this, is it creates a pipeline. And with cookies that are for events, your pipeline is almost 365 days from the time it starts to the time they come back. Yeah. Oftentimes we see people recurring orders for birthdays, recurring orders for Christmas.
For holiday gifts for clients,
So you don't know the actions that you take today will pad your funnel a year from now.
Yeah.
You'll just understand. So look at even the dealership that let Corrie borrow that car. We'll never know that I did end up buying that car eventually. But if they continue to do that, someday, Corrie one day will come back and buy that other car from them.
Maybe sooner rather than later with how it's going outside,
There is no such a thing as mechanics that can fix it. But that is the concept here. So ask yourself this week, in what ways are you lacking customer delight? And in what ways do you have elbow room to add it in?
Yeah.
And in what ways are you sticking the landing?
One way that I know I can do better is commenting back on Facebook.
I know.
It's so difficult because life is busy.
I know.
But you post something up, a potential customer takes the time to be like, oh yeah, those are so cute. And then I'm just going to heart it? Heart it?
Really? I was just
at the end of the day, just save your heart. Just to keep it with you.
THX.
Yeah. Or when someone tags me in a group, even if it's a set I technically really don't want to do, or it's I'm already booked, to take the time to thank that person, which this happened to me last week. She ended up ordering this week. Unfortunately, I squeezed her on. But she tagged me and she's like, here's the bakers I would recommend. It was me and 4 other people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fight.
And then so I commented, I said, thank you so much for taking the time to recommend me. You truly just made my day. And then I got an email that she ordered a custom dozen.
That shows you that you beat out the other 3. She's probably like, I shall order from whoever thanks me first. Imagine if you'd also followed up with an email. Again, making these things a little bit more extra special. And it's hard. There's some things, best laid plan of mice and men.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of things I'm like, oh, I should do that. I'm not going to. But imagine if I did.
Yeah. You know what is a good one that I've seen people do? And I've messaged them back. You can have an autoresponder in your email and on Instagram and on Facebook, right? Mm-hmm. And it will be like, we got your message. We'll get back to you with an answer between 24 and 48 hours.
Love an expectation.
Set the expectation. Granted, you do need to act on the expectation.
Absolutely. Nothing is worse than setting my expectation and not doing it.
But to have your email go, you didn't get a confirmation that you got that appointment at that repair shop.
Assuming we still got to stay
right. So you don't have a good taste in your mouth. You don't have a bad taste in your mouth. You're indifferent about it. But if you would have gotten, hey, we got we're working on it right now. I mean, Papa John's tells me where my pizza is in the oven department.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Please, so do you want us to text? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't get text, so please, pizza place.
Right. But that's the bare minimum almost. But
tell them about the customer experience from having to file this claim. You said to me 2 things. You said the app was phenomenal and the lady I called to file the claim was the nicest.
Yeah. I thought I was going to.
Looking at you, Progressive. It was
Progressive. I mean, I am paying a premium.
You pay a premium but you're willing to pay more for that experience.
I don't want to haggle. I don't want to have to take you back to the scene of the accident and recreate it for you. So the app was super easy. It was it told me where to put the car in the photo.
How can we apply that to cookies? Is your website super easy? Your website's super easy to order from. Go on.
Yeah, your order form tells you exactly what they need to make the order versus me being like, okay, what's the next step?
But it sounds fun. It doesn't sound like, listen, what's going to happen next? I have a unique set of skills.
Yeah, I cannot recreate exactly what the inspo photo is.
Colors may be close, but not matched. Do not ask for direct copy.
Yeah, so the app was super easy, and I was like, oh, that was not so bad. Then the lady calls yesterday to follow up and to submit the claim. I said, ma'am. She's like, can I help you with anything else today? I said, ma'am, you were the least hard part about this entire situation. Because she was like, good, okay, yeah, no, I don't want you to drive it if it's bungee. Yeah, we want you to be safe. I'm going to put you in a rental. Here's your rental number.
And you may be thinking, well, Corrie must pay a ton for that insurance. And probably she does. Probably gotten just stealing from her every month. But look at when you want it.
I'm like, wow, that was not so bad.
Right.
I should get in accidents more often.
So how can you delight your customers? That's where you're actually going to capture those customers with those deep pockets like Neiman Marcus.
Yeah. A customer for life that's willing to pay your top dollar for your custom order, that you don't have to spend time marketing to try to get every single time. If I see someone in my inbox who has bought from me before, the ease I have emailing back, because I don't have to fight that, well, here's your quote. Does that fit your budget? No, they already know.
Right. They've already been vetted. They've already been proofed. They've already placed their order.
They know how I work. They know where. It's not this weird where I feel like I have to earn your business again.
The cheapest lead is one that's already bought from you, because there's no effort you had to put in. But how can you put in effort to make even somebody who's bought from you the 50th time feel like a special snowflake? That they're like, oh my goodness, this baker appreciates my money, my hard-earned money I've sacrificed my life to make. So much, I can't wait to give them more of it.
Yeah. I had one customer that ordered fancy cookies, but I also know she has 3 kids. So I made her 3 separate cookies for the kids. And I said, hey, since I know these are so fancy and you bought them for your mom and your aunt, I made the kids some extra cookies to keep them busy while you guys eat your fancy cookies.
Delightful. I would be so delighted. What's other ways you've gotten delighted recently?
That I've been delighted? That I have been delighted. Well...
Somebody commented it the other day.
Oh, yeah. Who commented?
Oh, went Olive Garden. Sorry. Surprise.
Oh, yeah. She's so good.
This Olive Garden waitress, I'm delighted. She spends the exact perfect amount of time at the table.
When we walk in there and I see she's working.
When you lock eyes.
Oh, I ask. Can we sit in her section?
And then we tip great. But I said, it's our little sister's birthday. We're celebrating it. So we'll not be getting dessert today. She comes back and she lights those little, what are they called?
On the house. It was empanadas?
No. They're
the Italian donut.
Italian donuts with a candle in it, and made everyone sing happy birthday, which is absolutely perfect.
Insane. She has a Diet Coke pitcher that she keeps at the table behind us. So that when she comes to our table, she can just fill it up.
I know what you Diet Coke fans, you're thinking, well, it'll get flat. No, if it gets too flat, she refills the pitcher.
And she says, I'm sorry, I have something against glasses half filled.
Yeah, I even said to her, lady, I don't know how much Diet Coke I've drunk today because you never let it get past the first half.
To me, I'm like, wow. And then now you have us asking to sit in her section. So she when now we have the rapport when I come in, she doesn't have to be like, hey, have you ever tasted the wine? No, like she knows. And everything's ready to go.
It'll be the easiest table.
Yeah.
And she's always guaranteed 20% or more.
Absolutely.
With her, I rarely do more than 20% tip, but with her I do.
Yeah, she deserves every cent of it.
Also helps that her mom's paying, but I love it. My mom doesn't know how to use a little card thing. When you the little kiosk.
It is true though. It is so true. And then you have a better, like you're more apt to go to that Olive Garden because of the customer service.
There's a million reasons why not to go to the Olive Garden. The parking is weird. Sometimes it's too crowded. Yeah. But there's 1,000,001 reasons to go, and that's why we keep going back.
I know.
I can tell you any restaurant that makes me feel like I have a hostage situation in the kitchen, not coming back. Not coming back. So that is how to delight. Now we have 2 texts I'm going to read.
2 texts?
Oh, I want to show you this. Lillian sent, sorry. We told on the podcast that Phoebe had passed away last year in June, actually. And I didn't want to tell anybody because you all were such a fan of that cat.
I know.
18 years old. Great life.
Yes.
But look at Lillian.
That.
She sent you one too.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, here's a funny thing. Lillian is in the Cookie College and she loves AI called Photo Room.
Oh, I was like, because I don't remember you ever taking this photo.
She took Phoebe's, a photo I've taken of Phoebe's, and she
it looks
photo
so good.
Yeah, she photo roomed it in all the seasons. Phoebster, Weepster. So Phoebster in the fall, Phoebster in the spring, Phoebster in a bed, Phoebster. And she wrote in the note, it was like, I did this for Phoebe. And sent us both
nice.
We have
wait to put Phoebe. I do my artwork in my house is just
I went to Corey's house yesterday because she didn't have Ron. And I was like, can I come in?
Heather
lived there for 2 years.
Okay, no, listen, I want to tell you, Heather came over, and then she was like, can I go take a look at your cooking room? Can I go into your master bedroom? Can we go into the basement? And we're taking this weird tour of my house. I didn't even get a chance to
cat,
clean it.
a dog.
You did show Rube a lot of love yesterday.
Rube ran up to the door as if like
I told you she's being crazy these days.
Okay, I want to tell Corrie, Rube is Corey's divorce cat. She got divorced.
Divorce. I got it before I was divorced.
It was the beginning of
got it in the divorce.
It's like when you know somebody gets something and you're like, oh, the end is done. So I came over one day and Rube is just a tiny, tiny Craigslist kitten, to be honest, right?
Yeah.
And then Rube has never died.
She is.
Unlike the relationships, Rube
is smart because she was guiding Heather down to the treat area.
Pausing, like waiting for me. I'm like, where are we going?
She waits on specific parts to see if you...
And Corey's like, she's guiding you. Follow her. And I felt like it was in like a video game. Then we ended up at a treat box. Oh, okay. The house is nice.
Oh, thank you.
Corey's doing a major. I think I'm going to actually say you took my advice.
I did.
So I love IKEA. We have an IKEA here.
So in my basement before this, there was a couch no one sat on. Because the TV
but you made us
can't even
have
go
to
on the
move
wall.
it. The amount of
listen, that was
hair
me,
in my
not
eye.
me. So I said,
couch.
no one's sitting on this couch. It's just an eyesore, and no one's sitting on it except for Rube. I said, let's get rid of the couch and actually use this space to organize cookie stuff.
So Corrie I'm sure if you've ever been to IKEA in the last 10 years, you know exactly what I'm talking. The bookshelf with the perfect squares, it's got 8 square cutouts.
And it fits those cloth square box things.
You can either stand it upright or you can stand it on its side.
Heather gave me one.
I gave her one. And I was like, hey, I actually think that this would be great for your cutter organization. Just get a wall of these. They're pretty, how much was one? $50, $40?
I can't remember.
It was pretty cost effective. Very simple to set up because it's just a square.
Yeah.
And then, so now Corey's organized all the cutters. So every bin will have a certain theme.
Every bin. And then I got on the outside of the bin, you write this little, whatever it is. So you could say baby showers.
Right.
And then you put it on a clip on the outside so you can just look and know exactly what it is. So it's definitely a work in progress.
Hey, cutter, when someone says, I need to know how to organize my cutters, I say, your life for the next 3 months will be a hell on earth.
Yes.
But on the other side of this is freedom.
And then I hate rediscovering that I have a cutter that I needed for an order. And then I was like, oh yeah, I don't have that design. No, I did have that exact cutter. I just forgot about it.
It would be interesting, and I know you'd hate this. If you created a spreadsheet in Google Drive, right? Yeah. And you labeled the label on each bin is bin 1 and then the theme of it. But within the spreadsheet, when you go search bin, exactly what the cutter is.
So because I'm not so much as techie as you, the Cookie Countess came out with these little tiny squares that you write on. Okay. So it comes with a little bungee. You bungee it around the cookie cutter.
What would I search, Dish? Cookie Countess.
The Cookie Countess. Type in organization, I think.
Organization.
Does it show?
There's a lot of organization on the Cookie Countess. She has a category. There's just these things?
Yes.
Oh.
Do you see?
Oh, so you're drawing the label.
Well, I'm not going to draw, but for us people who aren't so techie, you write the name of the cutter and the shop you got it from.
Wow, she kind of thinks of everything. That is a great idea. You can search cookie cutter labels, pack of 45, and right now they're on sale for 15% off for $4.12.
There you go. So I thought that would be great for me.
Great.
For ones that are blobby, like cutters that are more blobby that I don't know what they are, so I never grab for them.
If you're a cutter shop here, and I know you're itching to sell in that sugar cookie marketing group, before you break that rule, you should label the cutters, the cut wall, with the cutter it is and your shop. Yeah. I'm just saying, I see people delighted when you do that, and also sending a card, not a written card, a card with a picture of what the cutter's supposed to look like. Apparently, that is what these bakers want.
If you want to delight some bakers, if that is your delight experience, that's what we want. And I like when cutter shops have a specific color of their cutters. I don't like when you keep switching.
I know why they switch, because filament is weird. But yeah, if you're a cutter shop and you're wondering how to be delightful, and also, do you like it when they throw in free stuff?
No.
You heard it here first, guys.
I love free stuff.
So we have 2 texts. Hold on, my stomach is growling.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no! Someone said your autoresponder didn't respond to me. Is
Oh,
this thing on?
well, look at your customer
Do as I say,
experience.
not as I do. I have to go figure it out.
How dare you?
Hey twins, I've been talking to other bakers who've been struggling with their business, and then the Profit First Facebook Live popped up. So this is probably a Heather question since she always quotes books. What are the top business books that you think will help elevate our business? Thank you, ladies, and happy Valentine's Day. Did you know in Mexico, Valentine's Day is aka the Day of Love and Friendship? Sending you guys so much platonic love to you both. That's hilarious.
Aw, that's so nice.
Actually, I'm going to tell you there's a Sugar Cookie Bookies group on Facebook. It is a subsidiary. That sounds way too official.
I like the word
It is a buddy group. Subsidiary.
It sounds like a river and an ocean.
To the Delta.
Yeah, it's a forge.
It is a river of knowledge. The Sugar Cookie Bookies group is run by Laura. She's the tomato queen. She in Minnesota? Minnesota.
Let's
She's
say.
in one of those.
What was
Wisconsin.
Minnesota's? Oh, 1,000 Lakes.
10,000.
Yeah.
Don't you take
It's
away.
only in lakes.
Don't you take away 9,000 of their life.
No oceans.
But those books are all business centric. Now, here's what I'm going to say. We're even talking about this with my dad over the weekend. I know you'll have the same answer.
I already know.
And I asked my grandfather, who was successful, he's since passed away, what's one book you would recommend? And he said, How to Win Friends and Influence People, which is written it's by Dale Carnegie.
Yeah, it's very old. Probably, I think it's over 100 years
You're
old.
going to be like, I can't believe you're making me read this. But I'm going to say that's where all business starts, is in customer and interpersonal relationships. And I think if I could force everybody to read it before they join the Sugar Cookie
Absolutely.
Marketing Group, it would be a different group.
Uh-huh.
Because it tells you that people are very interested in themselves, how to talk to people, how to delight them.
It's how to talk to them in a way where you both win, but they don't know you both are winning.
They know
think
they're winning. And that's great.
Yeah.
But you won as well. I would say that book is an easy read, but it's had the biggest impact on my business. It's how you guys write emails and you're getting the response that you get. It's because they're founded in that book.
And even our dad was talking about one of his employees, and he said, I just wish I could give him this book to read.
It would change how he works.
But that's almost like passive aggressive to be like, you need to read.
You need to read How to Win
You have no
Friends.
friends.
If you know how to lose them, they don't know how to win them.
That is a fantastic book. I read that years ago when
I actually reread it every couple of years.
It's smart.
Because it's good to know.
Yeah.
Now, Profit First, yes, those business books, there's great marketing books. I'm more of an Audible person. If I can't listen to it, I'm not going to read it. I have to read some. If I have to hold something,
read through yours.
read through. Yeah. But there's a ton of books. I'm kind of knee deep in psychology books, so they do feel that's a huge component of business as well. If we knew how each other thought. Now, some of you guys need the Bible because I've seen what you write. You need to ask for forgiveness. But yeah, check out the Sugar Cookie Bookies group. If you're in the Sugar Cookie Marketing group already, you're automatically approved to join it. Just request to join, you're automatically in. Another text. Miracle Twins, car emoji. I'm driving to the airport for work and doing one of my favorite things to pass the time and listening to your podcast.
Wow.
Back on December 5th. Remember back in December? We had just survived the vendor blender. It was war-torn country.
That was a blur.
I haven't seen my mom or my family in years. You were talking about making a podcast or a class on being a content creator. This is you, champ. Please, please, please do this. I would love to understand what Corrie meant when she said make a quote-unquote portfolio of your content with popcorn pricing for companies. Thinking emoji.
I like that. I need to do it.
Meaning, literally, how do you do that without just pointing them to your Instagram account? You two are the best. I just took the photography class, and it made so much more sense, and my photos actually look legit of my cookies now. Instead of just having still shot from a video reel, LOL. Sincerely, Teresa from Flour, Eggs, and Yeast in Florida.
So she's a part of the Cookie College, and that's the courses that she's talking about. She did take the photography course, which I poured my blood, sweat, and tears into. But if you take that course, you'll go from like blah to in a few steps.
Fair.
Yeah.
So, well, it's so funny that she brings it up. You actually told me you wanted me to create some sheets for corporate clients.
Yeah. So, but she's thinking like content creation. So how can you get Chef Master to sponsor your video to give you something like that?
How can you do that?
So how you can do it. Unfortunately, there's this weird time where you're creating content for free.
I know.
And you're like,
It's hard.
I hate that I'm creating this content for free when other people would pay. But what you want to do is you want to end up in their feed and you want to scratch their back so they scratch yours. So oftentimes, Ann Clark was one. I made a video of her beer cookie.
Again, free. Corrie did this on her own.
Did it for
Paid
free.
her own money to get that
tagged
cutter.
them, told people where they can get the cutter. Literally lost money on that because that was not.
Time and money.
So Ann Clark reaches out. Oh my goodness, we absolutely love what you did. Do you mind if we send you some products? And now we're creating the relationship. So, gifted products is a payment in and of itself. It's not necessarily where you're charging for it.
It's a chicken or the egg, flour, and yeast in Florida. But same thing happened with Miss Cookie Countess. You tagged them, and then they reached out, and they actually bought the medium. They bought the video from Corrie.
So the thing is, as I'm getting this content and I'm building my social media following, building the trust, building the engagement, then once it starts switching over, the scale moves up in my end, I can start charging for the thing. So
this is where focusing on your end goal, despite all else, is important. A lot of bakers you'll find will end up doing cookie decorating videos. Why? Because that content performs well to an audience who doesn't know anything about cookies. So who are they growing? They're growing people interested in, honestly, a lot of it's ASMR people.
Absolutely.
I do find it relaxing to watch but what Corrie's creating content, it goes to bakers. And I'll be honest, it doesn't perform as well because it's going to a very niche audience. Remember what I said? Niche thrice, name your price. And that's what happens is Corrie's like, instead of doing decorating videos, which do grow an audience, it's not growing the audience that's willing to pay. So when she does these videos of these objects, these things,
products, testing,
what she can turn around and she can tell bakers, hey, here's where I bought this. The comments, I get the same notifications Corrie gets. I'd be like, what in the world did you post that they're asking 50 times where you bought it? Please tell them where you bought it.
To even that, I'll sometimes leave out where I got something.
I know you do.
Just to get my engagement to go.
Right. And then when they ask, Corrie's responding to 50 questions of where she got that. But now she's creating an audience who's willing to buy, and that audience is bakers. So turn around, see Chef Master, turn around, and Cookie Countess and Eddie, they want to reach that audience. And now she's the intercessor.
Now I feel like now I've grown this audience. They trust me. So you corporate companies, I will only feature things. I will only take payment of things that I like. If I don't like it, I don't want to show it with my audience. And that comes back
into your branding. Are you willing, and TikTok, looking at your body, are you willing to promote something just to get a kickback? Or are you willing to honor your audience? I found this girl, she had 20,000 followers, which on TikTok's not a ton. Me with my 2 followers can attest. She says, all I do is I just tell you the truth. And at that expense, she's not getting as many brand deals. Yeah, because when she does recommend something, I guarantee you she's making a ton more sales for those brands.
I did the review of that neck holder phone recorder thing.
Did you post it yet? I would love to see what
I did. I posted the first one where I unboxed it, and then I posted me decorating with it.
How did it go?
I'm returning it.
Oh,
do not suggest. Do not recommend.
There's no way. One, you'd look like a dweeb walking in the real world.
It would be good for a packaging video where you're not decorating, you don't have to focus on one thing, but it's not good for decorating. Like if you breathe,
okay,
the phone's going up and down.
Oh.
Sounds like all
no one wants to hear your baker's heavy breathing over their cookies. So that's thanks so much for the text. If you guys want to text in, it really creeps. I'll try to get that autoresponder kickback on.
Yeah.
Right? But it's 571-556-5644. There's no such thing as a stupid question or a text I will not read.
We love them all.
I was reading somebody's text that it was on episode 10 and we're on episode 150. So they'll see it in like 3 years if they stick around that long. But somebody was like, it's so funny. I had texted into you guys, but didn't listen to the podcast. And she's like, almost 7 months later, I hear my text being read. She's like, I didn't care. I'd done answered my own question. But she's like, it was great hearing it. So if you guys want, we'll shout out your kiddos in the back of that car.
Yes.
So what is it? 571-556-5644. They'll lower my body into the grave and they'll be like, what do you remember? I'll be like, 571.
I'll put it on your
5644.
What is your granite piece thing called?
Whatever you want to call it.
What is that called?
Tombstone.
Your graveside.
We'll be buried next to each other. We will share a tombstone.
I want you to hole in the side so we can hold hands.
I want your little etched in date to be the day after.
There is this TikTok trend, and it starts with "Twam, where have you been? Why haven't we done it yet?"
Requires knowing how to sing. I got a cough. Diet Coke cleaned that up.
It did. Moving on. So I want to talk about the Cookie College. Heather has done a great organization.
Reorg.
Feet in the Cookie College.
Yeah, put pictures of my feet in the Cookie College. So you go subscribe.
Go ahead and sell them.
No, so back to the customer delight thing. I think you got to zhuzh up.
ZZZOG, yeah.
ZHUZH. It should just be the podcast. Just like zhuzh. It doesn't even have a number next to it. But zhuzhing up to kind of keep the content fresh, because as we were talking about this, the world of marketing, they say technology doubles its capacity every 2 years. It's good. I forget what the law is or the principle or something. Same with marketing. The things that worked 8 years ago, the things that worked 2 years ago. Sometimes when I look back and I see things I did 2 years ago, I'm like, how archaic was that?
Yes.
Using 30 hashtags. Very big indicator that was from 2 years ago. What?
Still doing it.
Like hashtags even have morphed. The type of hashtags have morphed. Using hashtags has morphed. The type of content posted. Now we see 3-4 years ago, videos do it so well.
Yeah.
Then 2 years ago, they stopped. Then they turned into reels and now they're back to doing well again, but not posted in groups.
Yes.
And groups have changed and everything like that. So in the Cookie College, constantly freshening things up, making sure it's still value added. I know that the biggest complaint about the Cookie College is that it is overwhelming, but our job is to provide new content and updated content all the time. So it is overwhelming. But every second Monday, I teach a Facebook Live on how to manage your membership. And that was last night.
It's a whole hour chock full of information you never knew you needed.
I would like everyone to know. Having to talk to yourself with that
love
energy.
it.
No. Me. Talking to myself.
Yeah. You kept the energy just going, man.
Hey, guys.
I felt excited the whole way through. I listened to every single one.
So we have the Cookie College. If you wanted to buy the individual classes, again, the Cookie College is the best buy-in. Yeah. And like I said in the Facebook Live last night, if you bought all of our memberships separately, you'd be paying $189 a month. However, if you buy the Cookie College, you get all the memberships included for $76 a month.
Steelio.
Just signing up for 1 month, you can always cancel, download everything. I always tell people, if you're here just for a month, awesome. Just hit that download button as many times as possible, and you can get all that content before that membership expires, of which the content is so much.
It's so much content. What's great about it, though, is the Cookie Class Kits, which is your one-stop shop to teaching cookie classes. Mm-hmm. We do the hard part. All you got to do is make the money. Which I'm jealous about. What we did change up was I am doing singer inspired. What do you call it? Sweet singer inspired, which is Taylor Swift.
We're not saying the word Taylor Swift.
Not saying Taylor Swift, and none of the images are copyrighted, but we're releasing that on the first week of March.
Because you guys asked for it. It was supposed to be graduation. What a snooze fest.
Listen.
Then Taylor Swift won the Super Bowl.
And now, so if you don't know, her album is releasing on April 19th, so it will line up. So you could really get some great
butts and seats.
Swifties and seats.
Also, that'd be just a fun DIY kit if you wanted to have a little release party. Yeah. Kind of that you can do. Sure. That's my biggest thing is like the Cookie Class kits are great if you're like, well, I'm not teaching classes. I have phobia of talking to humans. Hey, you're not alone, buddy. But you can change those into DIY kits and sell them from the privacy of your porch pickups.
Yeah, it's super nice. So that is also included in the college. Once you sign up to the college, you get all of the 2023 classes plus the 2024 classes as long as you're a membership in there.
You do. If you only are in the Cookie Class Kids membership, you get the 2024 classes, but you can purchase the individual 2023 classes if you're not big into memberships, which I don't blame you either. You can check that at thecookiecollege.com/2023. 20. Yeah, the numerical 2023. Don't spell it out. TWO. ZERO. TWO. THRE. So you guys can check that out. But we got a lot of stuff coming. I'm just cleaning it up, organizing it, making it more effective.
Yes.
For our audience because I want to delight them.
Someone asked me to, I did a Wednesday Adam inspired theme set. It wasn't technically a Wednesday Adam dress, but I made a dress. Someone asked me, I was thinking turning it into a Cookie College class.
I would love that.
The Wednesday Adam
I want you to use the breathing mount. And here's when you make the dress lace.
And then I was thinking maybe just doing a class on how I use InShot.
That would be great.
Which is not, it's not hard. I'm not breaking out big equipment. I told Heather's like, do you want to use our camera equipment? And I said, listen, I won't do it if I have to invest in a bazillion things. Whatever you need, baby girl. Whatever you need. Yeah. So I use a cell phone, an iPhone.
Most of the college courses are a bit more technical, so it would be nice to have a little bit more baking content. That was not what it was designed for, but Corrie will, if you request hard enough, do it. Do it. And then you could always, I guess the content creator thing, could you turn that into a class? Really, it's making content, not getting paid for it.
Yeah, honestly.
Until you start getting paid for it.
Yeah, growing your audience. Say, Tanya with South Street Cookies did do a class in the Cookie College on TikTok. And she has grown quite the following. And this year she's focusing on YouTube. So you can kind of see how she's cross-posting content using both of those content. But she gets sponsored a lot. So like Flycatcher Toys, which makes the Smart Sketcher, was one that she... And then for some reason, they came to us too.
I saw that little comment. I saw Flycatcher Toys in the DMs. What are you saying, flycatcher toys? I'm not allowed to check the DMs because Corey's like, when you check them, it makes it clear out of mine.
Yeah.
So sometimes I like to read what you guys say from the previews.
I know. So I can't respond to if it looks like it already has been responded to.
I was here reading.
Yeah.
We're not replying. That takes us through that. Let's go to, this is actually the last week of podcast sponsorship for AE Core backers before they take a little break. Not from making great products. They're actually switching to a warehouse that allow them to fulfill orders faster.
Yeah.
You guys loved them too much. They realize they need more product, but they also need more space so they can fulfill things faster. So they're actually based out of Florida. We met them at CookieCon a couple times, I think. But they're switching warehouses, and in the meantime, are putting a pause on sales. So I'm not sure if they've paused it yet. I'm actually going to look it up.
Okay.
When do you think? When did we get that date?
I want to
tell people if you're going to buy, go buy now.
Yeah.
Catalog. I'm going to click on Marble Backers.
Sure.
They're not completely closed yet. There's still some that say sold out, which they said eventually the whole website will say sold out. So if you want right now, go to aecorebackers.com, buy your stuff before they switch over, because then you got 4 months of nothing.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So, but you can save right now. You could use code Sugar Cookie, save 20% at checkout.
Not bad.
Which would be great. If you got the one that I'm going to suggest, do they have white matte finish in stock?
They have white marble stone is sold out. Let me see matte finish. Where would that be under the catalog?
I think it's
pattern solid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Solid.
And then white. Polar white's gone. That one.
Polar white is gone because they're not even bringing it back.
White super matte?
Yeah.
Sold out.
Oh, it is sold out. But they have great colors that you can. I love the marble ones if you're trying to look a high end. Neiman Marcus.
A lot of the marble ones are still available.
Yeah, those are great. If you like punchy colors, like my branding is pretty punchy. So the orange one I've been using, the yellow one I've been using. Love them all.
Apricot super matte sold out.
Oh, that one's gone.
But orange available.
Apricot is a softer orange. They're both very pretty. Orange is more punchy.
Watermelon super matte sold out.
So thank you, Acor, for sponsoring us. Can't wait to have you back.
But get your orders in now before if you're like, hey, my summer 2024 is going to be my photography era.
Yeah.
Get this in before she closes.
Yeah. And the reason why you want to get it in is because they're food safe. It's one of the few backers on the market that is food safe and that can claim that they are food safe.
Did you put it in a shower once?
Yes.
Yeah.
I poured chocolate sauce on it and then put it in the
test.
shower. I was so worried. She's like, no, if it doesn't work out, I'll send you another one. No,
okay.
It worked out.
It
was great.
Yeah.
They're food safe. They're matte, so it's not going to have a ton of glare from your, windows.
Great one to start off with. I will say that glare is for an advanced photographer. You will be so frustrated. Like sometimes, Corrie left one reflective backer here.
I'm just saying a glare from a normal backdrop. Like if you used a poster board and you have the glare from that, that's what I'm talking about.
But those reflective backdrops, you have to know what you're doing. Otherwise, you're going to see your little face reflected back at you, and nobody wants to see that.
I've seen some people do them with macarons. It looks really good.
It looks good. When you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing.
So they're food safe, matte, waterproof, scratch resistant. So I put a lot of props on mine. Mine are... They're great. It's almost like you would never thought that I used them. So I have a bunch. I love them.
Right.
Next is Eddie. Eddie has been
he is
main
steady
man this
steady
week.
Eddie. Steady Eddie.
It has been great. I have used him. I'm now trying to use him more often. I want him to be.
He's the easiest thing to use.
But sometimes there is a learning curve. So I think my green ran out of my cartridge.
Well, that's how they do.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to have to switch it. I was kind of worried because I had never switched the cartridge on my own before. It was 2 steps. And Eddie, on the screen, it tells you what to do.
I want to say, listen.
Next.
I came into my office today. I have a Hewlett-Packard printer, HP, right? The thing is flashing all these colors. It's giving me Morse code. I do not like my Hewlett-Packard printer that I print normal stuff on. Every time I go to print, nothing works. Every time I go to print, it's offline. I have to restart it. I have to say a prayer chant, turn around 3 times and say there's no place like printing. If you can set up a Hewlett-Packard printer and not murder anybody, Eddie is a walk through the park of technicality.
Yeah.
That we got an Eddie 2.5 years ago, whatever. And I unboxed it live on YouTube, which you can watch that. From unboxing to pressing print, it was seamless.
Yeah.
So I know everyone's like, there's a user. There's a learning curve when you want to do advanced stuff.
Yeah.
But from out of box of printing, there was I never called anybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So someone wanted strawberries as a background of the baby plaque, where you write the word baby. Eddie, listen. Oh, just that would have alone. I said if I
But I'm
had
saying the
to
Creed
take
cookies. Just go back to
the
that.
Corrie,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
could
I
not
wanna-
have taken the order if
I
I
want to
didn't
tell
have it.
people who don't understand why Eddie was integral for this order.
He did the whole thing.
When you take a photo of glass, you get a various light reflection so the bottle's purple, right?
Uh-huh.
Typically you'd make a flat purple color, but that doesn't look like glass.
Right.
This whole cookie was glass,
Yeah.
right? So with Eddie, you can print the gradients of glass that truly make the cookie look like the product. Otherwise, the cookie would have looked very flat.
Or you would have to paint each one.
That would be insanity.
I would literally die. So that Eddie can take this white cookie, turn it purple with gradient, with this minutia of a logo.
I want to tell you guys, there is white on this cookie because the glass was opaque in some parts. So I just want to say, frosted glass is hard to photograph, let alone to recreate. So Corrie was able to print the glass gradient with the white onto the cookie. You piped and you used a stencil for the logo.
I did to make it pop a little
One
bit.
baker had that idea. Who was it?
Oh, it was Darcie Heater Designs.
She had a good idea to use a stencil for the logo, which would have been kind of bland if you had printed it.
Honestly, Darcie, I went to her and she was the one who was a mastermind behind the whole thing. So she owns Darcie Heater Design, a cutter shop, but she specializes in silk stencils. So because the Queen of Silk logo was so
but you said silk stencils and then Queen of Silk. That was in Queen of Silk is the smell of this Creed thing. So there's a couple.
Yeah, there's a lot of silk going on.
Yeah.
So since the logo was so minute, she's like, I tried to make it. She's like, I think you would be better off printing with Eddie and then using a stencil for the Creed logo. And it really made it. It made it pop.
I thought it added a little bit more interesting. And then Corrie piped and painted gold as the top, which the perfume had a gold top.
Yeah. So it worked. I'll post a picture. That one I could not have done without Eduardo.
No.
So Eddie, if you want to see people who are actually talented, what they do with him, you can join the Eddie Printers user group. It's on Facebook and people are printing on almonds. What are those little almond candies?
Oh, M&M's?
Those covered almonds.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan
What do you call
almond? Jordan almonds.
How I know that? I don't know.
So people were printing on those. I saw
that's
the
a
other
very
day. That was
Eastery
good.
vibe.
There's this new cake fad thing where you burn the top layer of the cake.
I saw that on TikTok.
Eddie did it on a cookie.
A member of the Cookie College Alpha. She taught us how to do that.
Yeah.
With multiple layers.
So Eddie can print on the paper and then someone did on the cookie and then they burn it away and it was super cute.
Genius.
So Eddie, thank you.
Then we have Bakety Bake. Royal Batch is in meringue powder. It has corn syrup. It has white food coloring. It has vanilla extract. It has everything you need to get out the gate running. And it dries really nice. I see a lot of people who love it.
I wanted to say, when you make a batch of Royal Batch,
okay,
it comes up in volume for whatever reason. I don't know the science. It feels like it doubles itself. Yeah. And then when you bag it after you made a fresh batch, it feels like a cloud in your hand. A silky cloud. I don't know how to explain it.
A lot of silk in this here podcast.
Absolutely. And people in the comment section have explained it the same way I am. They're like, it's a puffy cloud.
Can you get the puff from it?
You can get a puff from anything if you do it right.
But you'll get it more.
You'll get it more if you do it right.
Use code TWINS at checkout for 10% off. The 5-pound bag is back in stock.
Yes. One thing, if you have ever wondered, like, Corrie, if I have ever endorsed something, it's because I absolutely 100% love it. Mm-hmm. And I endorse Royal Batch till the day that I die.
Mm-hmm. Corrie said, I'll let you guys know, Corrie, that Royal Batch said, hey, can I sponsor the podcast? And Corey's like, not sure yet. Need to try out your product because if I don't like it, then you should know.
Yeah.
So then Corrie loved it and hasn't shut up ever since.
I know. I couldn't believe when I first tried. I said, oh my God, what is this?
I'll say a lot of you guys don't want to switch meringue powders because you got the down to a science. And I agree. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But didn't one of the meringue powder people stop carrying it, like Wilton's or something? Like something was harder to get.
It was Carried and Michael's, and then they were doing this transition thing.
So I'd always say maybe now's the time to have a backup Marty. Maybe like stick with what you got. If it works, it works. But maybe, and I live in fear of a product getting discontinued, just in skincare and shampoo. But same with these meringue powders. So maybe it would be the time to get the 1-pounder. Just see if it's as silky as it sounds.
I mean, to test it out. I'm making my son's cookies this week. It was a great time for me to test out a bunch of
Those are going to be very cute. You had You had Eddie involved.
I did.
You had a core involved.
I did.
And you have Royal Batch
I
involved.
did.
Corrie loves what she loves. That takes us through this podcast.
Do you have a twin dress?
Have a twin dress?
Do you have
I was
a twin
asking you
dress?
first.
Do you have a twin dress?
This is my thought this week. It's not interesting, but it's interesting.
Okay.
If I'm on this like minimalistic journey,
Yeah.
right?
You've always been on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been on it for a couple of years. It really takes a lot to wrap your head around getting rid of stuff. So I said to myself, if I'm honest, and I said, what skincare products and shampoos do I actually use? I'd probably end up with 5 to 10 things.
Sure.
But in my cupboard, there's 50 things.
You saw my coverage yesterday.
I know. So I actually channeled that energy, that sad face you made. Because I said, what's in this closet? And Chris said, don't open it. And I opened it, and it was a lot of stuff. So I took everything out of my cupboards last night.
Okay.
That I haven't used consistently.
Yeah.
And I put them all, it looks wretched. I put them all on a part of the bathroom.
Just see if you were going to grab for it or something.
Suddenly my brain was like, we want to use all of these now. But I'm like, but I looked under the sink and I was like, well, that's so much. That's the stuff I use. Those 5 things.
Yeah.
That's actually what I use. And I felt better. Then I looked up and saw that crowd of product, which are all amazing things, but I just don't use them.
Yeah.
So that's my twin twist is I said to myself, like I had it like a little kid. The brain is so wild.
It's weird.
I had to say, just because you put them over here doesn't mean you have to get rid of them, baby girl. Just put them over there. You can grab them back.
Yeah.
This is not commitment. This is just testing.
Yeah.
And I think that's crazy how the brain works. But I was listening to a podcast this week on happiness, right? Just, I don't know, a Diary of CEO. YouTube recommendations are wild.
Yeah.
If you Google Zhuzh, it's like 50 videos on judging. But the guy had said, yeah, human happiness lies in relationships and in overcoming obstacles. Mm-hmm. So working through difficulties and getting to the result, right? Mm-hmm. He said it's why the diet industry is the least successful industry, yet everybody who starts a diet loses weight. Uh-huh. He said the problem is we have our goal is set, when I lose 20 pounds, I'm happy. So that's not the way happiness works. Happiness was overcoming to lose the 20 pounds.
Yeah.
So once you lose the 20 pounds, you say, oh, I'm not happy, but Oreos make me happy. And then that's why you kind of get the yo-yo thing. So he goes on to say that striving is happiness, but buying is not. And he said, I know it's hard to work to be successful, but when you're successful, manage what you want.
Yeah.
So he said that lies in being successful, but not buying your way to happiness, because the hedonistic treadmill means as soon as you get something, it was good until now suddenly you're like not happy.
Yeah, well, I gotta get something else.
He said your body, happiness isn't a goal. It's just a place you visit sometimes. And the hedonistic treadmill always returns us to a baseline of happiness. Listen, even if we had the best experience.
Neiman Marcus doesn't want to hear that. They want to sell the 40,000 new spring
They're
line.
like, we're going to make you happy, and then you're not going to be happy, and then we're going to tell you how to be happy when you come back.
I don't really have a twin trust other than bungee cords are amazing. And holding my bumper up.
AutoZone came in clutch with that one. I got you 3 different types.
I know. How much was the one that I ended up using?
Together, all 3 types was $15.
15? That's it?
Each of them were $5.
Steal. I was in the traffic yesterday and someone asked me to roll my window down. I was like, oh, great. I'm dragging this bumper and I don't know.
Do not tell me they asked you what you got your bundee cord.
No, he said I can fix it for $350. And I said, no, thank you.
I don't think he realizes that every tab is missing.
I was like, your bumper's hanging off your car.
He said, listen, I see an opportunity. I'm going to take it. That would be the most least insured.
That was very Woodbridge of you.
Woodbridge, they take and they give. So you have no twin twist?
No.
None?
Oh, I did get, if we're doing the Taylor Swift, you know, she was enjoying her after party of the Super Bowl. And I just was so happy for her.
I was like,
she was dancing to her own song at the club.
Ruth Ann doesn't know anything about celebrities. Yeah. If it's not Ronald Reagan from 8 years ago, she doesn't remember it. So, but she was like, I don't know who Taylor Swift is. And I said, all you need to know is that I think she's actually a good role model. I think she's successful. I think she runs a pretty clean image. I wouldn't be opposed to my kid that I'll never have listening to it. I said, yeah, I don't think it's bad that she's in the news.
Yeah, and she was dancing to her old song.
Who doesn't want to see
I was like, that's
that?
so wholesome.
I have no idea if this is true, but so many people are posting about it. But it was a picture of the dude's dad. Travis Kelce's dad.
Oh, really?
And Taylor Swift in the suite.
Yeah.
I have no idea if this is founded in truth, but quote unquote, he says, I look up at, obviously, she's a billionaire now or something.
Yeah.
And she's cleaning up all the cups and throwing them away.
Right.
Because people had just left them out.
She's so relatable.
Oh.
Anyways, I got these things from, I have to figure out the name that I ordered them from, but it comes with pre-made wafer paper that's already printed. So you could order, like, I think one was like Swifty Era that was already printed, and one was Besties.
These would be the beads?
Yeah, the little beads for the bracelets. They already printed. So if you were doing
I have a dumb question.
Yeah.
What I joined an edible printer group. It's not edible printing like Eddie is. It's those wafer paper prints.
Yes.
They're just buying Canon.
You can, as long as it's never passed.
The ink?
The ink is what's edible.
Where are they buying the ink from?
I don't know.
So you have to. That's the part I don't understand.
Yeah,
I'm sure somebody can.
It is Canon is the number one edible wafer paper printer.
Why don't people use wafer paper? Does it taste funny?
It doesn't taste like anything. It tastes like a piece of paper.
Huh.
It tastes like squishy paper.
I hate this vibe.
I want to say, like it tastes like rice paper, like a little ricey.
Sense.
It doesn't taste sweet or bad.
Okay.
So you use it for edible image, like if you're doing like someone's. A lot of people would print someone's Polaroid.
Okay.
Is what they were most common for. Or the top of a cake.
I'm going to say that it works for the Polaroid thing because it's not as bright. Like as an Eddie print is like blue is blue.
The problem with wafer paper and royal icing, specifically what I know.
Adhesion?
Yeah, it will start rippling. Or it will come up on the sides.
I have seen that when people go to bag them.
People will pipe a border on there. That's why the Polaroid was so good, because you have to put a layer over the border of it. So I think that those are a lot more cost effective. However, Eddie is a lot more expensive, but solves the problem they introduced. Yeah, and you can use them for like backgrounds and things like that. Otherwise, you have to pipe on a border, then pipe on the top of that.
So it's a good intermediary.
Oh, and cake people, I think it's great for a sheet cake.
Could you imagine if you were like, you add I'm sure you add the printer just like you'd add a normal printer like Hewlett Packard Canon. But like imagine like I'm printing out my taxes, but you put it to the wrong printer, you got this whole wafer paper taxes.
Weird things I've sent to Eddie. Eddie is just on my printer list.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Munbin. It's like, what are you trying to do, girl? On this 2x3 sticker.
I'm like, where's my little cookie tags? I went upstairs, Eddie.
Okay, that takes us through this week. Let's hopefully Corrie doesn't get an
Be delightful.
There you go.